Hello, everyone. We are now honored to be joined by Yakov Shaharabani, the CEO of ADASKY. So Yakov, just before we get into the questions, I just wanted to let our audience know that you have more than 30 years of experience in the Israeli Air Force, where you served as a pilot and a general. Your last position in the military was the Israeli Air Force attaché to the United States. So an incredibly impressive background. And then you moved over to be the CEO of ADASKY. So now just really getting into the nitty-gritty of the company and letting our audience learn a little bit more about what you're doing. My question for you is, over the last 2 decades, we've seen the numerous ways technology enhances driving performance. And one of the best examples of that is the rise of autonomous and semi-autonomous vehicles. But innovation can often yield new and unforeseen challenges, and we're going through what people are calling today a pedestrian safety crisis. Can you tell us how this problem arose and what ADASKY is doing to make our automobiles safer?
Hello, hi, happy Hanukkah, everyone. Maybe before I get to the seeds of what we are doing here in ADASKY, I want to say, as a former Israeli Air Force attaché to the United States, I cherish what AIPAC is doing, and I'm so thankful for what you're doing and your support for strengthening the relations between the US and Israel. I want to thank you all for that. After my retirement 5 years ago, I was looking for my next challenge, and I was looking to do something that would make an impact and will make a difference, and basically, in a way, will support in a bit to have a better and safer world. And I found ADASKY, and since the day our startup was initiated a little bit more than 4 years ago, our journey is very inspiring, and we are driven to save lives. I would say, and going to your question, and to be more specific, in my view, a turning point in the understanding of the challenge was a little bit more than a year ago, with a AAA report that was published, and basically did a very thorough research about pedestrian casualties in the US in the last decade. And this report is alarming due to the fact that with all the advanced systems that we have in the car, the emergency braking system, the conclusion of that report, which basically we knew, but we didn't have the numbers when we initiated ADASKY, was that while there is a reduction in the car accidents and pedestrian casualties in daytime, in the last decade, from 2009 up to 2019, there is a 67% growth in pedestrian casualties at nighttime. When you dig into the fundamentals of this, how come when you have emergency braking system that basically should avoid this kind of accidents, and when you learn more about that, and they did a very unique experiment with 4 different 2019 car models that are equipped with the best emergency braking system that basically rely on daytime camera, they found that at nighttime, those systems are completely ineffective. And I'm using the phrase that AAA used in that report. And when you understand the physics of the current sensor suite that support emergency braking system, a daytime camera is very effective at daytime, but like the human eye, is lacking a lot of information that you should get at nighttime. And with our thermal camera, which is very advanced, very small, energy efficient camera that was built from day one to meet the automotive market, we strongly feel that if it will be adopted as part of the emergency braking system, we will be able to reduce significantly the numbers of pedestrian casualties at nighttime and in harsh weather. And that's what inspires us, and that's what we are doing in ADASKY.
Well, that's an incredibly inspirational story and a real gap in sort of what we consider to be automobile safety. So incredibly exciting, very important right now during what we see the rise of a lot of casualties as a result of cars. I'm curious to know how receptive have automobile manufacturers been in adopting new safety technology, and specifically with regards to your thermal camera?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, because those car makers all over the world, we are, by the way, in engagement with most of the leading OEMs in the vehicle industry. And they like, I would say, adoption of other disruptive technology. We see a lot of attraction, but having said that, in my view, it is slower than it should be. And if we would like to have, let's say, in the next decade, a reduction of the amount of casualties at nighttime, this technology must be implemented. In my view, thermal camera, advanced thermal camera, which our camera is in the size of a size of a finger, very small and very robust sensor, and very cost effective. If it will be implemented, in my view, it will make the impact like airbags did in the vehicles and like seatbelts. I'm sure that 1968, those were that was when it was regulated to have seatbelts in the car. 2000 was when airbag was regulated to become part of a vehicle. And before that, I'm sure that car makers they felt that their car is very safe, because they didn't know about airbag, they didn't know about seatbelts. I'm sure it was too expensive to adopt that. And the policymaker made a move, and it impacted all the industry, and it saves lives. Likewise with the thermal camera. We feel that once it will be there, the market adoption will be very, very fast. And when you look at the price and the fact that this is a passive camera, the support is huge, and the impact will be significant. Maybe I will just, due to my background as a pilot in the Israeli Air Force, we fly low level at nighttime and in harsh weather. The prime sensor, the prime technology that we are using at nighttime in order to sense the environment and not to avoid accidents, of course, and to fly in a very low level, which are basically the same challenges that you have while driving the car, is a thermal camera. And somehow yet it is not being adopted in the automotive market. It will be there, and the sooner the better.
It's very interesting. So wanted to just quickly shift away from the thermal Viper camera that we've just been talking about. ADASKY is also using thermal sensor technology in the areas of smart cities and body temperature monitoring, which is just so significant and timely to the world that we're experiencing right now with the COVID-19 pandemic. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and its relevancy right now with regards to adoption in smart cities?
Yes, I must say, before I get to the smart cities and the COVID-19 challenge that we had this year, that I'm facing almost on a weekly basis requests to shift and to add additional vertical and to take our very strong and robust technology, and in order to solve a problem or a channel in a different domain. We decided to make a strategic move about a year and a half ago, and to monitor the smart cities, which is part of the transportation challenges, I would say, or moving to fully autonomous or semi-autonomous transportation solutions. And we had a very big opportunity in a very modern country, not in the US, but in another one, where basically their vision is to have a smart, fully autonomous country. And by that, part of that is to have smart junctions. And we were able to develop a very strong and very sharp sensor. We call that Sharp Vision, that supports smart cities. It's already being deployed there in dozens of systems, and the feedback is very, very positive. And when you think of the future, the fact that we will have autonomous car and we will have a smart city with no traffic lights, and sensor will replace those traffic lights and will be able to communicate and share information between vehicles, between drivers, and also maybe to pedestrians, will alert them via their mobile phone, etc. That's the future, and we're heading there. COVID-19 erupted. We, of course, weren't focusing on solutions for elevated body temperature, etc. But we have a very strong team, a very creative one. And once the COVID-19 erupted here in Israel, our engineers came with a very quick and agile solution and tried to adopt the technology and to offer a product that can detect from distance, from quite far, detect body temperature in large crowds and enable the stream in terminals, in airports, and in the stream of people to move forward while picking those that have fever or elevated body heat, and which is the first and foremost signal of having COVID-19. I would say more than the product, I'm very proud of the inspiring atmosphere that we have in the company and our culture, and the fact that people are really driven to save lives in the road, and in this case also during the COVID-19 era.
Well, definitely. ADASKY definitely encompasses and embodies what we believe is social impact, helping to save lives and helping to ensure that our streets are safe.